Hey guys, today's video is probably going to be pretty short. We're not going to introduce any new materials today. I wanted to take a second to review over the stuff we learned in Shurley Chapter 9. I've posted a quiz review for Chapter 9. It goes over Chapter 9.1, 9.2, and 9.3. So that's indirect objects and different uses of quotation marks. I didn't go with titles and things of books and all that because I didn't really have time to do that in detail. I think we're going to do something with that later on when we talk a little bit more about essays towards the very end of the year. But for the most part, I think you guys know how to do that from our essays, but we'll definitely review over that. So the Chapter 9 quiz review that's been posted, it deals with indirect objects. It deals with how we use quotation marks in sentences around dialogue, around people speaking. So indirect objects obviously are a noun. They're a part of a sentence that comes between a verb and a direct object. You guys are pretty familiar with direct objects. Some of you have had a little bit of trouble in the exercises so far that I've posted in finding the indirect objects. So if I have a sentence and it says, I mailed a letter, okay? There's no indirect object in that sentence. We find our verb, mailed. What did I mail? Letter. Letter is the direct object. But if I say, I mailed my mom a letter, okay, what did I mail? Letter. I didn't cram my mom in a mailbox. Okay, that's ridiculous. So she can't be the direct object. She's not what's being mailed. But that letter is being mailed to her. Okay, so she's the indirect object. She's receiving that letter, the direct object. So she's the indirect object. If I say, my dog fetched me a stick. Okay, fetched is the verb. The dog went and fetched something, an action. What did it fetch? Fetched the stick. It didn't fetch me. My dog's not, 10 feet tall and able to lift me in its mouth and carry me around. It fetched the stick for me, okay? The dog fetched me a stick. Stick, direct object, me, indirect object. So look between the verb and the direct object. Find your verb, find what it's affecting, okay? So mailed, letter, baked, cake, fetched, stick. And then look between those two. And again, not every sentence has one, but the sentences on this review do. And if there is a noun between it, more likely than not, it is receiving that action. So who was that letter mailed to? Who was the cake baked for? Who was the stick fetched for? Things like that. And that'll lead you to your indirect object. It shouldn't be too difficult to find. As far as quotation marks, again, they come around dialogue. Whenever someone is speaking, there need to be quotation marks, okay? If it's just one person speaking, if it says, Terry said, I like pizza. So Terry said, comma, quotation mark, I like pizza, period, quotation mark. So your quotation marks are always going to come after your punctuation. Notice it was Terry said, comma, so there's your punctuation, then your quotation marks after the comma. I like pizza, period, there's your punctuation again, quotation marks. Quotation marks always after punctuation. There are very few circumstances where that's not the case, and I'm not going to give you any of them at 6th grade level. Quotes within quotes. I do have 2 of those on the quiz review. These are a little bit more difficult. Pay attention to these. Be careful. So this is like, John said, Sally said, let's go to the mall. Okay, so it's someone saying what someone else said. So what John said, comma, quotation marks, double quotation marks like normal. Sally said, let's go to the mall, period, double quotation marks. That's what John said, but then Sally's saying something inside of that. So John said, comma, quotation marks. Sally said, comma, single quotation mark. Whatever I said, she said, let's go to the mall or something, I don't know. Period, single quotation mark, double quotation mark. So that quote inside needs single quotes around it to show that that's another person speaking, okay? So if you're quoting something that someone said, and within that they quote something someone else said, there need to be single quotation marks inside the double. And it depends on the way that the sentence is set up, where they show up within the sentence, but be careful of that. Make sure you know who is speaking when, and that'll make that a little more clear. Again, there are some examples in Chapter 9, Lesson 3 in your Shurley book. If you want to look at those and have your book open while you take the quiz, that's fine with me, okay? I don't mind that at all, looking at it, going over the rules, because I know we haven't been able to do these exercises, and I haven't been able to put examples on a board for you and all of that. So I know this is a little bit more tough than doing it in a classroom setting would be. So feel free to utilize any resources you have, your book, whatever. Don't ask your parents to do it for you. But besides that, I don't really care. Another thing that I want to discuss, and I'm going to post this just in text on the page, because those of you who see this are probably not the ones I'm talking to. I have got several people who have not, around 10 people, I think, in sixth grade who have not submitted their final draft of the bronze bow essay. Okay. That's a pretty significant number, which tells me that a lot of people are not watching the videos. A lot of people are not keeping up with what I post and what I'm telling you on Google Classroom. Okay. I will give credit through tonight. If you submit your essay by midnight tonight, I will still give you full credit, but that is the absolute latest I'm accepting it. And again, I'm going to put this in text on Google Classroom for those people who don't watch the videos because they're probably the ones who didn't submit it. And a few of those I won't get submissions because they're just not going to do an essay. And you know who you are, but those of you who have done an essay or have a rough draft and want to do an essay because it is a 100-point test grade, please do so before midnight tonight. That's the longest I can extend it. I think I've been very reasonable with that. I gave you an extra week because of us having to move classes online. We'll start chapter 11 vocab tomorrow, and I'm going to work today on getting some of the grades back that some people missed a few assignments last week, and we've emailed back and forth. I'm going to have to go back and check those grades and things today and get those in. But your grades should be up to date today. If you're missing any assignments because you didn't see them last week or something, or you're having issues with Classroom, just send me an email. Let me know. Do it. Tell me you did it. I'll go back and check it and put it in the grade book because there's no point in getting a 0. But going forward, be more careful with that. One final note, Unit 11 vocab exercises this week. Spell it right. Okay? I'm not giving you credit if you don't spell it right going forward. If there's a typo or something weird like that, or you put an S on the end of a word and make it plural and it's not supposed to be, yeah, you can message me and I'll probably fix that. But if you just spell it wrong, sorry. Okay, be careful, double check your work, take your time. Good luck with the Shurley quiz today. If you've got any questions on any of those concepts, you want to talk to me before you take the quiz, anything like that, again, you can use your book. But let me know if you have any questions. See you guys.